Are you looking to start a podcast? Yes! Then see this episode's show notes for our unique promo code to get up to 2 months of free podcasting service with Libsyn when you sign up for a new account. Get your show on Apple and Spotify. Get helpful audience building stats and all the support you need to sound your best. They can even do video. Bring your podcast to life and have your voice heard here, there, and everywhere with Libsyn. Again, see our show notes for our unique Libsyn promo code and get podcasting.
This is Jed McKay, and you're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
Yes, welcome back, loony listeners, for 2024. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast, episode 345. You're with both of your High Priests of Khonshu, of course, Rebecca. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Looking, as I mentioned before, looking very snug as a bug in a rug.
I've just turned on the screen and seen what you meant when you said what you were wearing.
For those who do have the video, Rebecca and I cannot be any more opposite.
I'm in a giant pink furry hoodie and Ray's in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah. Well, we spent the day, Rebecca. We went south to this. It's called Bushman's Bay, and little Fan. He for the first time he was snorkeling, like with the help.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
With his uncle Rick. His uncle Rick's over here from Germany. So yeah, he had a blast. A really nice beach. It was So it was a nice, really nice sunny day. It wasn't too overbearing. But I can.
I went to the shops and we're down to 0, I think, at the moment.
No.
It feels like we're having we just had a really awful windy, rainy day. And now this weekend it's gone cold but sunny. So I'd kind of rather have cold and sunny, but so we're just trying to stay warm without putting the heating on all day.
Yeah, no, absolutely as well. We're the same. I'm just being mindful of the air conditioning. So again, you couldn't get any more opposite than.
I mean, as if to prove we're on other sides of the world
exactly,
from each other. We don't often show it quite so radically.
But loony listeners, thank you for joining. Welcome back to the show. I can't tell you how super pumped I am. We had a bit of a quiet ease off the 2023, Rebecca, just to, obviously commitments and, just...
It's Christmas. It's like New Year. I changed jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You've got family over.
Mm-hmm.
Things take precedence.
Exactly.
And, we know everyone else is involved in the, doing similar things with family and holiday and... end of the year just generally is always a bit crazy. So I mean, it's just funny that it spanned this very important part of Moon Knight history.
Yeah, it is. And so we are playing, if you have been listening to a few of our episodes earlier, we are playing a little bit of a catch up. So this episode, Rebecca and I will be looking at the finale to the Jed McKay, Alessandro Cappuccio run, Moon Knight Volume 9, Issue 30. It was a huge, massive run. We'll get into it obviously a bit later as well. A bit of news as well there, Rebecca, with the letters page. That was just an amazing thing.
I was very shocked. I was, and then dying for you to read it.
Yeah.
Read it. Don't want to spoil this, because in the same way as you managed not to spoil issue 200 back in the day. And you knew, I didn't know about this. I don't think any of us did, but I do know that I read it very early in the morning. And I was waiting for Ray, wake up, read your comic.
Well, that's super sick. I mean, look, apart from, I'm sure I'll ask you, Rebecca, about any white noise or news, but let's just jump into that. For those that don't know, before we get into it, and we are going to enter spoilery territory, albeit rather late, because this issue had come and gone already in the past year. But a bit of white noise, not only ourselves, but one of our valued loonies as well in the community, Lena and Doug from the DID
I mean,
system,
to
got to
be
mention.
fair, it was Lena Doug system that were actually getting the thank you,
Absolutely.
and then we were kind of mentioned as
We
a,
were tagged on.
as it should be.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like we were just, and not it was amazing, and it was just nice to see Jed recognize everyone.
Yeah.
And I know on Twitter later he mentioned the person he left out of the letter.
Yeah.
Which is a good friend of mine as well, Ahmed
Mm.
Rafat, who helped on some of the Egypt stuff. So it's really nice that not only through the issues we saw some of that advice come into play.
Yes.
But that, Jed mentioned it at the end of the run, even though, like, we're all going straight into this vengeance. And when we come to talk about issue 1 of Vengeance, that we have a massive amount of Judaism.
Yeah.
Stuff to talk about, which is really unusual for Moon Knight and very touching. And I really enjoyed that aspect. So it's just, but first of all, for everyone who said it, yeah, it was a great shock and very surprised and very nice.
Yeah, look, I just emailed Jed back just to thank him and all that, and yeah, he said the same thing about how we missed Ahmed, unfortunately, but yeah, it was such a really nice thing for him to do, and yeah, so that was very, very happy, very happy with that. I mean, yeah, I can't really say anything else other than that. Yeah, so we are looking at before again. Jumping ahead, before any of this, a huge thank you to all our patroonies as well as our sponsors. So thank you for keeping us afloat. We're looking forward to a bumper year. I've already mentioned to Rebecca, there's something in the pipelines. I'm very excited. Rebecca, all of them have now confirmed. So I've just...
Oh my
God. So that's pretty cool.
Ray is planning something so special for you, and I have to decide now if I can get up in the middle of the night for it,
I know,
because it's really hard.
I know.
Yeah, I've moved into full-time work, which is very scary. But it means that my time's a little limited.
Absolutely.
So we have to see what happens. But I'll always want to be there. So it's just a case of now seeing when I can.
Yeah, no, for sure. We'll see what can happen. However, whatever evolves,
I'm very
Rebecca.
excited for it though, and you should all be very excited.
Yes, it's very good, and prizes galore, stuff like that. So
it's a full. If you listen to issue 300,
I think so.
You'll have some idea of how crazy Ray is about his things.
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking, Rebecca, as well. I mean, just getting sidetracked yet again. We haven't had enough like giveaways, and I think we're in a position now where we've got this fantastic sponsorship from patroonies and other people as well. We should be kind of sharing that around. So what better way? And I remember a shout out to Lena again. Lena was so on board for our 300th celebrations, but we ended up actually not doing that much, actually, Rebecca. So you were referring to the 200, 300.
That's it, yeah. 300 we missed.
Yeah, but don't worry, Lena. 350. Hopefully, it's going to go well. We'll see how we go. Yes. So anyway, Rebecca, any white noise in the news of Moon Knight that you come across?
So I think the most important thing to mention, if people were unaware, is that Timeless had Moon Knight Khonshu content. Yeah. So the Timeless that came out at the end of the year.
Did you follow that?
Has so I just did an Iron Fist podcast on it. We just recorded the Iron Fist podcast on it because it also involves Iron Fist and Luke Cage.
Right. Didn't Iron Fist go up against Moon Knight? Did I see that on a cover?
I'm not. No. Luke Cage with the Iron Fist went up against Moon Knight.
Oh.
Anything else will be spoilers, right?
Wow. Okay. No. So I just before we recorded and met up, I just saw something online going, oh, that's because 50th anniversary this year.
This year, 50th anniversary. Yeah, we're getting a special apparently. So which Luke Cage didn't get. So that's Thanks, Marvel. But no, I'm very excited for the Iron Fist one. But yeah, no. So Timeless has some Moon Knight content.
Yep.
We were joking on Discord how it was very for me issue.
Okay.
Because connecting Moon Knight and Iron Fist is kind of funny, and I'm joking about how all it really needed was a big Iron Man, like. But no, I can't think of any other big news.
I can't think of anything. I'm just thinking
outside of the issues we've got. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of merchandise. Nothing.
I mean, we talked about the unmasked one, didn't we? The unmasked pop TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I think we
think
talked about
so.
that last time. Yeah, no, I'm sure we have.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything else.
Look, it might be old news as well. Just a reminder, a little mental note to myself: Moon Knight, the Epic Collection, I think Volume 4, for Marc Spectre. Moon Knight, Marc Spectre Omnibus Volume 2, I think is up for pre-order. Again, it might be old news, but that's good. So that will most definitely be the second half of Marc Spectre Moon Knight from the 90s run.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it. Sorry. Haven't really, dug too deep with that. Rebecca, shall we get into this fantastic issue?
Yes, let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, yeah. As mentioned, we are doing Moon Knight Volume 9, Issue 30, The Terminal Seconds of Moon Knight.
Such a great title.
It is. I like it how it counted down. Like, was it the days, the final hours, the terminal?
Yeah. Terminal seconds. I just love the word. I love use of the word terminal like that, because every time on the tube and trains we get the message, this train will terminate here. And every single time we always make the joke, it's gonna explode.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of made that joke with signing contracts. Have you executed the contract?
Yeah.
And
termination.
I always have a bit of a giggle.
We're such children.
So again, apologies for those that do not have the video, which you can have access to if you become a Patreon member. Rebecca and I will be flashing up some visuals, which will be the alternate covers, the variant covers for this issue. I thought it would be good, Rebecca, anyway, because it's the final. There've been variant covers, and we've kind of spottedly, acknowledge them throughout the run, but this is the finale, so I thought it would be good to show them off. So up on screen first, final cover. Well, the original cover is a beautiful blood cover of Moon Knight. You've probably seen it, everybody, with Moon Knight kind of lounging around. Yeah, slumped. I'd say lounging around. He's dead.
Dead. I mean, okay.
So that's a regular cover, really cool. Which cover did you get, by the way, Rebecca?
I got the regular one for this one.
Yeah, me too. But there's some really good ones here. Greg Cappuccio, he's come back in force. I think he's doing more Moon Knight.
Allegedly for Wolverine.
Yes, yeah.
Allegedly, according to the latest rumors.
Looks beautiful there. Moon Knight, basically doing
This is very nice.
Yeah, a heroic stance.
He's doing the Green Goblin thing, but on the moon.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's more like it. I thought of it as him landing, almost. That kind of.
It does look like that's kind of superhero landing, but it just reminds me of the Goblin glider.
Yeah, that too, with a cratered moon, which is awesome.
Yeah, I like the cratered moon. We don't often get to see that.
Oh
no, I got this one.
Oh,
I got the Foreshadow variant.
Foreshadow variant by Alessandro Cappuccio again.
Yeah, because it's Cappuccio. I really like the main one, but I was like, I want Cappuccio.
This one looks really good. Yeah. Sorry, I should mention that
and it's got the whole gang, and it has 8-Ball, and come on, he can't have many front cover appearances.
I know, exactly. And we get I've got to say, I mean, maybe I'll wait for it, but I love Hunter's Moon's Mr. Knight version. But you're right, Alessandro Cappuccio. Oh my God, look at that. I should mention Steven Segovia does the regular.
Which is beautiful. I do love it.
Yeah. We've got a hidden gem here by Chris Sotomayor.
Oh, I like that.
It's very, I don't know, it's kind of alternate. I don't know,
It's
Rebecca.
weird. It's weird, but kind of I like it. Weird.
It's very textured. It's like a Moon Knight statue, just
It's
broken.
hard to explain. Yeah, it's like a broken up Moon Knight statue
amongst Doric columns
amongst
and
other
stuff.
broken things, and a golem. It looks like a golem in the back. Yeah,
it's very, very
but
odd.
That's very dull.
Yes, a departure from the detail there. So we've got an insignia variant cover, which is just a crescent moon. I guess minimalism, Rebecca, but
it's all right. But it'd be better if it was like the Spider-Woman one with the cutout.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, thank you, Rebecca. Thank you very much.
Just saying.
And we have who we'll see returns as well for covers. In Hyuk Lee, very very cool artist. This is
I think this one's a weird one.
Yeah,
it's kind of like he's sinking in
Yes.
quicksand, but I like it.
Yeah,
no,
but-
I don't dislike it. I just think it's a weird one.
Yeah,
It's kind of like you have his white glove and part
Yeah.
of his face.
Yeah,
and then
content
kind
is-
of muddy.
Yes, content is weird, but I love the style. Art style is
Yeah,
it's kind of like the Mark Brooks,
yeah. It
style.
works very well
Yeah.
with the logo. Funnily enough, it
Yeah.
fits quite nicely there. Yeah.
Rebecca, hold on. We've got a few more here. Steve Morris. I like Steve Morris's stuff. Again, another weird
Wow.
one. I don't know.
That's a great bit of horror, but I don't know how it fits in with the story or
Oh.
anything, but it's a really nice horror cover if you
It's-
like horror covers.
It's up there with the Golem.
I
This-
like but they're both really interesting.
Yeah, this one I've seen, and I think we
Yeah,
have
I know
mentioned
that
it's inimitable Peach Momoko cover. There's something just slightly eerie about it, but also very beautiful too. Like it's just
Yeah. She has such stylish stuff.
yeah. I mean, because she can do some really
Mm.
I don't want to say non-horror stuff, but she can do some really nice looking stuff. But then
Yeah,
she adds just a little few things here and there.
a little bit of weirdness.
Looks a little.
Here it's like an eyeball.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, we've got a couple more. Elizabeth Talk, fantastic.
I love Elizabeth Talk.
I
This
love
is a
it.
very odd one.
I love the
I love
colors.
her art, but this one is weird as hell.
It's more like mummified with like
It's mummified with a
pythons,
snake.
snakes,
I mean,
or
beautiful color. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. So it looked very gilded. And finally, Scotty Young.
Which is I would buy the Scotty Young one as
Yeah.
well as the normal one because like I just like having them if they're characters I love.
Yeah.
But this was around the time I found out I might be losing my job. So I was
yeah,
like,
of course,
okay,
of course.
cut back on everything. Cut back on everything.
And I forgot to mention, I don't know which ones are the incentive covers. So some of them obviously a
Yeah.
lot harder to
Probably
find.
some of the ones we were discussing that we hadn't seen as much.
Yes.
The incentive ones.
Yeah. So those are the covers. And so this was released December 13th, 2023, last year. Cover date of February this year, 2024. Jed McKay, Alessandro Cappuccio, and Alessandro Cappuccio on pencils and inks. Jed McKay writing. Colorist Rachelle Rosenberg, letterer VC's Cory, Petit, and editor Tom Brevoort. Rebecca, that's kind of like your core team.
The gang.
That's the gang.
Yeah.
That has been, and Sabatini as well, have been just going.
Yeah, I mean,
straight
look,
Yeah.
he's done so many that he's definitely part of the team. We'll
Yeah.
definitely count him as the team. There's
Yeah.
not even, I mean, like obviously this is the starter team,
Yes.
but he's still part of the core team to me now.
Oh, no,
because he's
absolutely.
been, it's like he's done enough. It's like he's not just done the odd one or two.
He's not a reserve
He's
or
done a
on the
good
bench.
chunk.
No,
he's not.
he's
No,
very much.
he's we'll count him as part of the core team.
Exactly.
Let's do that.
Exactly.
And Segovia, really, because I love his covers. So
he's consistently.
it's very
been
rarely It's very rarely I buy one of the variants, and it has to be because I either just preferred it or this time around I just wanted a Cappuccio one. So
I might have to follow suit, Rebecca, and look for that Cappuccio one because that looks bloody awesome. I mean, his artwork is just getting better and better. I've just got to say now, he did another variant cover to I think Vengeance of the Moon Knight 1, or is it 2?
yeah.
Oh my god, looks really good. So, yeah, very good. As always, fair listeners, Rebecca will be punished by reading the bare bones, which she will try.
Oh no, have you sent me it?
Oh no, have I? No, I haven't. Yes, I have. No. Okay.
No.
Perfect.
Send me it, I'll read it.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So I'll send
If
this
in
over
case you're
to.
wondering why I've made no notes, I didn't.
No,
Does
no.
that make
Oh,
that
no
was me.
worries. Oh, I put it on our calendar invites now. Sorry, I should have told you.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's
missed it.
yeah,
Sorry.
no worries. So let me just chuck
See if
that
I can
in
find it.
there. And so Rebecca will do the fantastic rendition of the bare bones, which is a synopsis.
Oh my god, you do. I'm so sorry. It
No
is
worries.
there.
And we'll go through what I thought, Rebecca. I haven't added it in, but I reckon we aim for some key aspects. So maybe 5 things. Like between us, we can come up with
Yeah.
5 points that were
Yeah, we can do that.
big movers and shakers for the issue, and then we'll just free ball with notes and stuff. We'll free 8 ball with notes.
I need it. Oh, wait a second. I've got to sign in my other person,
That's all right.
my other email.
No, this,
Oh no, it says I need to request access. Well, I sent you a request.
Okay, no worries. This is a bumper
We'll just
start to
talk about Moon
2020.
Knight.
Yeah, let's talk about Moon Knight. It's
Yeah, let's talk about Moon Knight. He's cool.
he's pretty good on some days. Most days, if not all, and you can just tell I'm vamping. Connor Shoe was the best of them when it came to vamping. So,
Oh my
just trying
god,
to follow.
but usually because we'd say stupid stuff.
I have done it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got to
I've
change
asked
it.
you for the next. Yeah, got it.
Cool.
All right, bare bones. Everyone ready?
Mm-hmm.
Well, first time I've seen it. With Plesko revealed as the Black Spectre, Moon Knight is faced with his own past alongside null comrade. As Tigra Soldier and Hunter's Moon attempt to reach Marc in time, Plesko reveals to Marc his motivation and intent. Elsewhere, Zodiac faces not only Reese, but the Midnight Mission. Reese reproaches Zodiac and taunts him by revealing that Moon Knight can no longer be resurrected by Khonshu. Thus, if Black Spectre kills Moon Knight, Zodiac will be deprived of the pleasure himself. The neat twist, the mission allows Zodiac to walk away after an unheard agreement between them. Moon Knight's final moments are met with Marc valiantly trying to disarm the equipment Black Spectre had used to drive the city crazy. In a massive explosion, Moon Knight and the entire floor are decimated, with Moon Knight's congregation helplessly looking on. A month later, the Midnight Mission is still operational, this time with Reese receiving requests for help from those who visit.
Yeah, it was. Can I just say, Rebecca, it was amazing. I think Jed has a real grasp of just kind of tying things up in a very, very simplified way of kind of explaining it, similar to issue 25, was it? What do I? Yeah, 25.
I think so, yeah.
Where he it was a culmination of stuff, and you got all the villains coming in. This was very similar in the sense that it basically just wrapped everything up, and it kind of it brought everyone, all those, as we said, all those little seeds that he planted throughout, and other readers were saying, "Oh, look, there's not much happening." All that kind of comes together.
I think also similarly, we're getting better at reading Jed. So, like in the first, say, 12, 15 issues, sometimes these twists caught us a little bit unaware. And I'm not saying that there weren't still surprises. I just think that I'm personally getting better at saying, this is, like sort of guessing how he'll do things in a non-traditional manner.
Yeah.
We won't necessarily have the fight. We'll have more of a talk out. In this case, I mean, I'm still plumping for Zodiac as
I know, yes,
Moon Knight.
I've got to say.
So, which at the time I first said it, I was like, "What's the most Jed response?" And it felt like the most Jed response would be a character that he had a lot of commitment to, but that you could make that argument. And the argument we get in this is that it is the argument that I would go for, is that he was deprived of his revenge.
Yep.
Like, and he seems like deranged enough to do that. And also it gives us an interesting aspect of another Moon Knight with different mental health issues.
Yeah,
and like what the impact is of that. So I mean, it's a very sort of, I mean, look, it may not be. We may still have, as when we get around to talking about Vengeance of, we'll talk about what's happened with that. But it's just like, so there's things like that I don't think I would have guessed at the start of the run. I would have gone more traditional.
Yeah.
I mean, look, we still all love it to be 8-ball. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah. And look, and he's been, well, I was about to spoil into Vengeance of the Moon Knight territory, but we'll leave that thing. Yeah, absolutely.
But for this, he's very good at bringing everything together. And like, I think what the most you can ever hope for when a hero dies is that their death is worthy of their heroic status.
Yeah.
And I think and it feels earned. Like, it's not a example not just being killed in an explosion. Like, semi off screen. And here you get to see all the people that he's impacted in his life in the last 29 issues. Are all there to witness it and play a part, and they do all get something to do. I think exactly what you said is like some of those quieter issues were getting everyone in place were really necessary to pull this one off. And I just the art's incredible.
Oh, the art is fantastic. And look, okay, so if we're to zero in on some key points, then let's start with that one, as you said. So, Rebecca, you've kind of riffed off the fact that one of the big moments in this is because you're saying that you think you'd like to see Zodiac as Moon Knight, and that kind of stems from the fact that, as you mentioned, there's this kind of unheard conversation Zodiac has mentally.
Let's do Reese versus Zodiac. Let's do Reese versus Zodiac as our first point then.
Oh, I'd love how Reese is so assured now of herself, which is really good. I mean,
she's so much better since the Blade training and since making up with Hunter's Moon. I think the art for Reese is a bit weird.
Oh, okay.
Like, her hair's a bit odd, but that's aside. That's like my only art comment for this entire issue.
Yeah, she kind of has jumped in age. I thought because it's mentioned she's 19 or something. I think from this issue, maybe this, but I thought she started off as like 17. So there's like two.
I think she started at 18.
Oh, did she?
I think,
okay.
Yeah, I think, and yeah. So I mean, like, it's easy to imagine there's been a birthday in there somewhere.
Yeah, sure, fair enough.
I mean, I'm not sure it was ever. I would have to go right back to the beginning, but I guess I always thought she was 18.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, we knew she was a late teen.
Yeah,
but just I like that Reese was able to go against Zodiac even verbally.
Yeah,
because I mean, like, what 19-year-old kid could?
And let's face it,
Zodiac. And she's a vampire, but she's a very new vampire.
Yep. And Zodiac did do it, like, he did a huge number on all of them. So you'd think that she would be, like, she might go the other way and be really, like, scared and fearful of him.
Or at least, I mean, she can turn into mist. She doesn't need to hang around for, like, him in the mission.
Right?
Yeah. But she sticks. She gets the right taunts in. It's like, you're just like, why are you working as a henchman for Black Spectre? And he's like, well, it served my purposes. It's like, I'm not sure if it did really. I think you were a bit of a stooge for him.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's where Zodiac's able to be like, he's slightly deranged and not thinking straight.
Yeah, it makes him less.
But then
Sorry.
No,
I was about to say it makes him feel less dangerous than once he is kind of reminded of the fact that he's a lackey for Black Spectre, and that obviously cuts to his ego. But
yeah. But then also that she's able to sort of say, well, you're an idiot. Marc can't be resurrected, because his whole plan is, Marc, I'll poke him a bit, he'll get reresurrected, and I can start hassling him again. And it's like, it's a stupid plan, number one. But number two, he can't get resurrected. And they have there's this great 3-panel page with her being angry, him being an idiot, and then her looking very superior and saying, you better hope Marc survives.
Complete with his bling, with his Zodiac bling.
His Zodiac bling, his item of faith.
But to be honest, I thought, like, once he stepped inside the Midnight Mission and just how not powerful the Midnight Mission is, I thought, well, your days are numbered, Zodiac. Like, you've made the mistake.
I mean, I'm guessing that's why she was slightly more confident.
Yeah,
she's got
that
the
as
mission,
well,
which is hugely powerful.
Yeah. But then,
But that was so interesting. Let's do the mission talking to him.
and he didn't like it wasn't even like scripted, so to speak. He just kind of like thought in his
No.
head and saying, "I know you can hear me," like
Yeah.
in here.
He's like, I know you can hear me,
Yeah.
read my mind. You
It's
know what
crazy.
I want this the same as you do. Marc resurrected.
What else? Okay, yes, but
I
why would
assume
the Midnight Mission let him go? That's the thing. Like
because
because
so
because
that's
he's
the thing we don't know is what
yeah
the deal with the Midnight Mission.
yeah
Is the
yeah
Midnight Mission deal to like bring me bodies that I can eat, or is it
mm,
go get Khonshu out to resurrect Marc,
yeah
or just do something? I don't know. That's going to be the interesting is
yeah.
now what deal did he make?
Or is it to go after Black Spectre, or something like that? Just to, I don't know. Yeah, so it's a very interesting. It's a nice kind of ambiguous thing.
I
That
think it's nice that the mystery we're left with isn't really who's the new Moon Knight.
mm,
I mean, that is a mystery, but this is
yeah,
a more interesting one. Is what deal did Spectre make?
yeah,
Did Zodiac make with the Midnight Mission?
because again, just the level of villainy that Zodiac is that we've seen in this run, it's almost kind of unfathomable that the Midnight Mission will
You
go
got to remember
agree
though,
to
the
him.
Midnight Mission started off as a bad
Yeah,
guy in Strange,
yeah,
right? I mean, like this isn't a lawful good character.
yeah,
We're talking about sort of a thing of chaos potentially,
yeah,
and because I'm sure they don't necessarily do want the same thing. Like,
yeah,
I mean, we know Zodiac only wants Marc back to drive him crazy
yes.
and finish his grand experiment. Like, I don't know if that's what the Midnight Mission wants or not. Presuming it doesn't,
Well, then
but we'll see.
it also casts doubt onto the Midnight Mission as well. Can it be trusted, really? Something that was a huge weapon for Moon Knight and his congregation. Like, if it,
But yeah, they're
yeah,
still working out of it. So let's
yeah,
assume they think it is, and this
yeah,
is just a weird.
yeah,
I mean, but the shocked look on Reese's face is
mm,
great.
yeah.
What?
Like Zodiac managed to somehow convince it to just let him
Yeah.
go, which is amazing. So that was a huge moment in this. Let's kind of draw back a bit to so we got revealed in 29 who Black Spectre was, which was a big thing. But now, just Plesko himself, like, what did you make of him? I thought he was quite interesting because Jed explained his motivations during the Karnak Cowboys and all that, and I thought that was actually quite
Yeah, it's
useful.
like I was always a psychopath, and I just thought I'd watch how you guys do it.
Well, and then that motivation of
You know,
like Marc was doing it all, and it's kind of like, yeah, I want in on this. Like he was,
yeah.
Marc was, it was an indirect kind of compliment of like Marc was so good at what he did. Plesko kind of just took a back seat, just took it all in. Then it's like,
I
okay,
mean, I love people that can come along. That I mean, I love Jed for this, for sort of coming along. Go like, did you never think it was strange that there was a psychologist going with all this bunch of mercenaries?
yeah,
It's like, of
yeah,
course it's strange. It's
yeah,
like it's such a comic thing. It's like
yeah,
I love it when people come into newer runs and just go, did no one question that this is like insane?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it was very interesting. And he's got the I don't know, he's got the kahunas to be a really good, like, a really good villain. Like he's so well thought out. Um,
dude, we get Bushman on the panel.
yes. Oh, absolutely. Of course, I forgot about that. Sorry again because it has been a little bit a while since I read it. But
Yeah,
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 he made a deal with. Well, he was talking to Bushman. The fact that he's talking to
yeah.
almost the devil for any Moon Knight fans is crazy. So, yeah, so some really good tie-ins because again, that was one of the big things, Rebecca. Jed seemed to have skirted around like Bushman. Like we saw a bit of
Yeah,
Morpheus, we saw Black Midnight Man. Everyone was
yeah.
saying, "Where's?" We got a mention of
Whereas, yeah.
Frenchie and Marlene. Where's Bushman? And we finally get him
Mhm.
in the finale, which I thought was a great touch from Jed. Yeah. Yeah. So uh, basically, the other thing as well was obviously the death of Marc Spectre with Moon Knight. Those final moments. Still trying to do it. Still trying to save people. I
I
love it.
mean,
Love
it's
it.
I
It ended
I just
mid
there's so many
sentence.
beautiful things about it. It's
Yeah.
like so. I was just gonna talking about the art,
Yeah.
the different art styles that Cappuccio does. So like the Midnight Mission guys, so Tigra, Hunter's Moon, Soldier, they're done quite realistically.
Mhm.
Then when it's Plesko and Moon Knight's all moving towards the Sienkiewicz kind of blurriness.
Mm.
The Bushman stuff is all beautifully coloured in oldie timey
Yeah.
stuff. There's just some really gorgeous changing art styles here. And when you get Khonshu's full on
Oh,
Sienkiewicz.
that's right.
It's
Yes.
just beautiful.
Yes.
It's kind of like dreamlike. I can't help you. I'm imprisoned. Just such great changes, and then some really almost experimental stuff I don't think we've seen from Cappuccio before.
Mm.
Just beautiful.
I think it.
Sorry, that was my big point now, is just going
No,
on about the art.
I think it's absolutely warranted. To make mention, the art is absolutely superb, and you're right. I mean, we do get mentions. We do see Khonshu, and again, just that reiteration from McKay, and to see it visually with Cappuccio that Khonshu is unable to help, and what is he says something like, you have a seat next to me, like, I can't help you now,
Yeah,
Mark,
yeah,
but
it's
if you
beautiful.
die, well,
Even
yeah,
for what it's worth, I'm proud of you as well.
yeah, like it's a
I
really,
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
profound stuff.
I'll await you. You can take your seat by my side.
I mean, considering the strained relationship they have.
And then the fact that moves straight into Mark saying, "I can't do it alone,"
Mm,
and the other alters
yes,
coming in with, "You don't have to."
yeah,
Chillingly beautiful.
it was. It gives me chills now just thinking about that because you're right.
Just reading it makes me tear up a bit.
Yeah,
Like having Jake saying, "You're never alone,"
yeah,
you know, and them cheering him on and saying, "Get on with it, go save the city," kind of thing.
yeah.
This is what you're good at. Go
It's
do it.
it's one of the things for Moon Knight, isn't it? Like, and this is nothing obviously against Moon Knight, but he always does feel like he is like the lone wolf and he's alone, but he has all these, and this kind of um, goes throughout the runs as well. He doesn't know what he has.
Yeah,
In the sense, not only internally, like with his alters, but I'm talking about his support cast as well.
yeah,
Is very much someone that wants to do it alone. And in this issue and in this circumstance, sure, he was separated from them, so he couldn't really. It wasn't his choice, but he does have those people wanting to help him. Like Tigra as well. We see like how cut he is.
hmm
And even his final words were for her, and I found that so like beautiful. Like it was a
yeah.
mid sentence thing, which was like very kind of sad because he was about to say something
It's
to her.
always
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
um,
And then going straight into the Shema,
yeah.
right for the end, which is drummed into us from a young age that is what you recite just before you die.
Right. Okay.
So it's a very central prayer.
Yeah.
It just means uh, the Lord our God, Lord is one. Listen, Israel. Listen to the people of Israel. It's controversial at the moment, but they're talking about this is biblical and
Mhm.
talking about Jews. Uh, I don't mean anything by it. The literal translation. I'm sorry. And yeah, it's so that's what we say, and
Yeah.
Mark and Jake and Stephen are with him,
Hmm.
and then we get the lovely sort of panel of him and the people he's touched,
Yeah.
and
Oh, a recap. That was
you know
great, wasn't it? Like you
the little
see
recap.
those
Yeah,
scenes, and we've pinpointed those scenes as like just they were the scenes that kind of made most of those
yeah,
issues, right? Tiger on the rooftop with Mark, that was such a
yeah,
beautiful thing. Yeah, so it
yeah.
was again this whole rounding out that Jed does. I found it was really great.
It's really beautiful.
Yeah, and
And yeah, then the big explosion.
the big explosion, and that's it. Look, before I might as well say it before I forget. Look, there's one thing I thought, okay, just could have been good.
hmm
um, I found like the whole situation, although it was, New York City was at stake, it was very isolated. I would have liked to have seen the ramifications, like in the greater New York, with other characters, just to give it that scope a lot bigger, because everything was really kind of insular in the sense that it was focused on Moon Knight and his congregation and Black Spectre, which, fair enough, that is right. But to, I guess, enhance the gravity of the situation, I was just thinking, like, if we do see, I don't know, some of the Avengers or somewhere else just saying, okay, something's happening to the city, just to give it, like, to show that it's not only the team. I thought that
I
might,
always love it when they do that. I'm not sure
yeah.
they ever managed to pull it off particularly well, though.
Yeah. Anyway,
but it definitely would. I agree. It's kind of one of those things you always want from comics. Is
yeah. I always think of, like, it's a really silly and maybe not really comparable thing, but I always think of X2, X-Men 2,
Yeah.
the movie, and I can't remember, it was Singer or whoever said that we wanted to increase the canvas, so they started shooting in different locations, and it just added so much more. And it's not to say that in this they needed to shoot in other locations, but just to see other parts of the world rather than just the building, would have really increased the scope of it and give it that more of a, oh my gosh, this is a huge thing that Black Spectre's doing. I take it that Jed's that's not really that important. The important thing is the interaction between Black Spectre and Moon Knight. But yeah, I don't know. That was just something I thought might be.
Then we get an epilogue. Epilogue 1.
Oh yeah, right. Yes. Sorry, Rebecca, you've got that in front of you, right? So
I do. It's Plesko. Was it what's his name? What's the sound dude?
Sarnak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Plesko coming up and saying to Zodiac, blah 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 blah. You can't plan for Moon Knight. You failed, Plesko. You hurt my feelings. You took Moon Knight from me. You took me what's mine. I have a plan for you. I'm going to give you full atrocity experience up close. Moon Knight, Zodiac, and a bunch of guns and whips and
that's right.
swords and
Yes. Yeah.
Stanley knives.
Yeah.
And
Looks good. Yeah.
And then Epilogue 2,
which is the big moment, I think, as well.
Yeah, the one that Mario and others predicted, but Mario probably did it first.
Yep.
Is that we end up with a scene that mirrors the opening scene of someone coming to ask the midnight mission from help, but this is Reese.
I love it.
But this time she has the gang behind her.
And all well dressed. I love it.
You're right. Hunter's Moon has his Mr. Knight outfit in black.
That's so cool.
8-Ball is in a suit.
Still looks like a dork with the big
Soldier,
ball.
pretty sure still in Marc's Mr. Knight outfit.
Yeah.
And Tigra in kind of vest top, but she's Tigra.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I love it.
It's really nice.
It just bookends the whole series. And again, hats off to Jed MacKay for just really sticking the landing, I think, for the ending to cap off this series. We know it's not the end because there is another following series, Vengeance of the Moon Knight, but what a way to end it. Rebecca, if you could give this out of 10 big fuck off moons from Connoisseur, what would you give it?
I gave it 9.5, but I'm really close to like 10.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I just ripped the band-aid off. I gave it a full-on 10.
I'm very impressed.
I just thought
maybe double think.
Yeah, Cappuccio, come on, Rebecca. Cappuccio's art and
Yeah, I'll give it 10.
Yeah.
I think I gave issue 1 a 10. It can have a 10.
Oh, how good is that? I mean, Looney's, it is a remarkable ending, I think, to a very well lauded run. I mean, it's not only obviously within our little community. The sales have been doing well for it. It has generated a lot of interest in Moon Knight. I think it's done I don't want to measure it against it, but against the TV show, I think this Moon Knight run really has elevated Moon Knight, with comic book readers.
I I think I still can't get over how well we now have a new gang around him. Like it's not that it's hard for me to remember about Frenchie and Marlene, and
Yeah.
because obviously that's what I'm more used to. But I no longer sit each issue and go, I wonder if we'll see one of them,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's furthest from my mind as well. It
and
is nice to
haven't for
see
a
them,
long
but
time because,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
But
And
I'm really happy that we have 8 Ball as part of the crew. It adds a lot to it.
8 Ball is crazy and still in the mix, Rebecca. Still
Yeah,
in the mix.
still
You
in the
don't know.
mix.
You don't know what 8 Ball will do, or Soldier, or you don't know what Zodiac will do, or you don't know what
Yeah.
Reese will do. It's all
Well,
good.
I think we discounted
Yeah,
Reese
yeah, fair
based
enough.
on the design being male, so
Yeah,
that's all right. But
yeah.
like,
I,
yeah, any of the others, it could still be.
yeah, and I just wanted to go back to your point as well. You know, some of us, like you say, Mario, and some of us as well, with when Plesko was killed by Zodiac before. Some of us guessed it, but I think it's still testament to Jed's writing that we're so enthusiastic to try and guess and try and preempt him and try and kind of
Yeah,
get
yeah.
under Jed's skin and understand what he's going
And
to do.
it doesn't actually change me liking it
No.
whether I get any guesswork right either.
Mm.
Like sometimes with comics it can.
Yep.
It can be, oh, well that was but no, it's always done so well
Mm.
that it's in a way that I didn't expect it, or in a with words that are more beautiful than I would ever have put in their
Mm.
mouths. Like
Yeah.
so it's just like just that basic kind of, oh yeah. I mean, even thinking this is how it would end is still like reading those pages was still like,
Yeah.
what if it isn't at the end? Like,
I
what if
know.
it's like, but how
Exactly.
cool is that just as a bookmarking? It's just being impressed by the whole atmosphere, the feeling, the how he brings in the altars, how Cappuccio's art elevates all the different sections, obviously the coloring.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not going to go through the coloring in this issue page by page, but there's so many different styles to
Oh,
match all the different locations,
yeah.
and they're all beautiful, and they're all unlike anything else I've seen in any
Yeah.
comics. There's just something about the palette Rachelle
Oh, she's amazing.
has just developed for this, and that adds so much to the visual language and making it such a distinctive title.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just beautiful.
Yeah. There was a tweet or whatever, an X or what do you call it these days, Rebecca?
I just call them tweets. Everyone's
Tweets.
just call them tweets.
Did you see it was at a con? It was Jed, Alessandro, and Rachelle together, and
I was
I was
so
thinking
mad.
like, oh my
I wanted
god,
to be there.
that was awesome! Like,
They need to come to Thought Bubble
oh, just
and
get
get
those three
hassled by
together.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be fantastic. So we've given our thoughts, loony listeners. Now, I just want to go through quotation mark, Rebecca. We do have a few bits of feedback here. I just wanted to shout out to the loonies before we wrap up this, but absolutely stellar issue from our point of view. Let's see what the others thought, Rebecca. So we have a couple of big ones. I might kick off with just the first one. Do you want to do Mario's and I'll do
I'll do
Lena's?
Mario's.
Okay. So the first one here, most of these are raw Facebook. This is from John Shepherd. Yeah, hello, John. Hope you're enjoying the show and hoping you're enjoying our community. Apologies if you've been here for a while. I don't know. So John writes, this run is absolutely fantastic and Vengeance of the Moon Knight is off to a killer start as well. Really hoping McKay gets a 50-plus issue run out of this. I hope so too, Rebecca.
Me too.
He got 30. Can he do 50 is being,
I mean,
like,
we must be at like 32.
yeah.
30. I mean, like, I know it's strictly, but we've got the annuals.
Yeah, yeah.
There's the odd issue, like, what was that event he was in?
Devil's Reign or
You
something.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's Devil's Reign, but there was the one with Taikugi.
Oh, something like Contest of Champions.
Contest of
Something
Champions.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. So I mean, like, I can imagine. So if I was talking 50 issue plus omnibus, you'd add all of that in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's pretty. What an achievement, though.
We get the likes of, and they're no slouches as well, the likes of Benjamin Percy, Kelly Thompson getting 50 issue runs.
Al Ewing
as well. I hope we get something from Jed. Jed has really, he's injected something new into Moon Knight. It's so exciting for Moon Knight fans. So yeah, let's hope and see what we get.
All right, yes, Mario's post. First things first. Ha, called it. Sure, I was off by one pronoun, but I'm taking the win, as you should, Mario. Yeah, that's talking about him predicting that sequence at the end with Reese in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
But now let's be serious. From a purely plot-centric standpoint, not a lot happened in the issue. Moon Knight saved the city, but at the cost of his own life, and the bad guys escape, sort of. If that was the only metric we measured the story by, it would be simplistic, especially as the climax of a 30-plus issue run. But that's not what the issue is about. It's about character, and not only how Marc has grown throughout this run, but also how he's impacted the rest of the cast. The rest of the system bands behind him for his final effort, and as he passes, his memories are not about his failures, but about his friends. Extra bonus points for him having recite the Shema as he died, as per Jewish custom. Meanwhile, Reese confronts Zodiac, and while it may not have been the outcome she desired, it did have a positive impact, as Zodiac's anger ends up costing Black Spectre dearly. I'm curious to see just what the mission saw that caused it to let Zodiac loose. I suspect that may come back later. I know I'm not supposed to mention a certain Chiropteran crime fighter, but I was personally amused by the similarity between Terry's reaction to Mooney's death and a certain episode of said unnamed character's 90s cartoon. Probably a coincidence.
Yes, it is. It is, Mario. Let's just move on.
Black Spectre himself, while perhaps predictable in identity, is quite unique in motivation, as it answers a question that was sitting in front of us all the time. Just why didn't ex-Merc become a psychiatrist? Perhaps not the deepest motive, but a fascinating one. Even Khonshu gets a look in, though he's probably a bit miffed by Marc calling on a completely different god as he died. Still, there was closure. And thank you, Mario, for writing God that way. That's how I write it. So, but it's appreciated. Tigra, Soldier, and Barda don't have a lot to do in this issue, and 8-Ball doesn't do anything at all. He put on a suit. I guess he did escape in the previous issue. Sorry, that was my interspersion there. It was gratifying to see that while Moon Knight may be gone, the mission continues.
Yep.
Art-wise, it's great to see Alessandro back for the finale, ably assisted by Rachelle's colours. It carried the story wonderfully. No complaints from me. I'm going to give this a 9.9 out of 10, only taking 0.1 off because of insufficient 8-Ball. P.S. I'm starting to think that the new Moon Knight in Vengeance will end up being Zodiac. Khonshu seems incapable of bringing back Marc at all, flawed or otherwise, and the Z-Man might very well think, well, if I couldn't turn Moon Knight into a supervillain, I'll simply become a supervillain version myself.
Yes, thank you, Mario.
Thank you, Mario.
That is kind of like what I mean, but who can say that Jed has never surprised us before? So we don't know, but that would be an interesting premise, Zodiac. Thank you so much, Mario. That is fantastic. I loved your reaction to the issue.
Yeah, me too.
Next we have Lena from the Lena Doug Jonathan Vincent system. First of all, of course, even though I knew it was coming, I was so psyched to see our name in Jed's thank you letter at the end of the book. Yes, a huge congratulations, Lena. I didn't know that he was also going to mention the podcast Into the Night, so that was a nice bonus. As for the story, it was everything I could have hoped for and more. It was nice to see the flashbacks to those heartwarming moments with each of the Midnight Mission team. But what really touched me most of all, from my perspective as an alter in a DID system, was how Jake and Stephen encouraged Marc to keep going and make sure his death meant something. They gave him the strength to finish the job of saving the city. It reminded me of another of my all-time favourite Moon Knight scenes, the We Are Moon Knight moment. Yeah, in issue 14 of Lemire's run.
God, yeah.
I would definitely give Moon Knight 30 a 10 out of 10. Wow, there you go.
I'm feeling a bit bad now that you bullied me a little bit.
As for theories on who the new Moon Knight will be, I have a theory. It's a bit of a gruesome and creepy theory, but hey, that's not exactly foreign to Moon Knight stories. I think that the new Moon Knight might actually be Khonshu himself. I was thinking about this, Rebecca.
Wow.
Reanimating the corpse of Marc Spectre. Yes, I might not have enough power to resurrect him, but maybe just enough to possess his corpse. He could then use Marc's body to rally the Midnight Mission crew to invade Asgard and break him out, at which point he could leave Marc's body and fully resurrect him or them. I know this theory is a bit out there, but hey, you never know. Jed may come up with something even crazier than this. And no, I don't have any advanced knowledge, I promise. I'm looking forward to reading whatever Jed has in store for us in Vengeance of the Moon Knight. Thank you so much, Lena. And yes, Rebecca,
Yeah.
I thought that as well. I love the idea that Khonshu will use Marc because it's very Khonshu. Just use his corpse like as a
It's very
puppet.
Khonshu from the past. I'm not sure it's as very Khonshu as we've seen him recently.
Okay. Yeah, true.
When they've been on slightly friendlier terms. But it is very interesting. It's a very interesting, alluring concept because we haven't seen.
Yeah.
But the only thing it would rely on is something that would let him out of Asgard enough, even.
Yeah.
But again, that could be something that the Midnight Mission got Zodiac to do. We don't know that, so.
Well, being imprisoned, Rebecca, does weird things to you. So maybe Khonshu did get a little.
I mean, look.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a lot of Khonshu in this run either. So, we haven't seen much of Jed's interpretation, and we know he's called back to older stories in other things. I mean, I'm not discounting it. I think it's a really interesting theory.
It's a fantastic theory. Thank you, Lena.
Yeah.
That's great. I love it. Just a couple more here, Rebecca, just to wrap us up. Have you got the next one there?
Yeah, Seth Eves said, I completely died seeing 8-Ball in a suit. That was so unexpected and so hilarious.
Yeah, I think
agreed.
That was highly entertained a lot of people. So thank you, Seth. And finally, Todd Brandhoover says that issue was great. Still effing pissed about how it ended. Thank you so much, Todd. It's I wouldn't say I was pissed at it, but I just really loved the issue. Just made me want to read it all over again.
Let's put it this way: if we didn't know there was Avengers of the Moon Knight coming out, a few weeks later, I would have had I still think I'd have loved the issue as a ending of a story, but there's a certain push you get from knowing you're getting the next.
Yes.
The next bit of it.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, exactly. If we didn't know Vengeance of the Moon Knight, different. Yeah, absolutely different. Different story on that.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody that wrote in or just shared their thoughts in that community. We'd love to just get the discussion going. Let's keep it going. I mean, we've got, as we speak, Rebecca, Vengeance of the Moon Knight has already been released, so can't wait to chat about that.
Yeah. Me neither.
But what a fantastic end of an era here as well. I really think Jed's run is a game changer for Moon Knight, and he has taken the time to build those building blocks, like of the new crew.
It's just really impressive to me. We've seen a lot of people have a stab at it, but to go 30 issues and onwards is a big deal for any character.
Yep.
And especially for a character it isn't sort of top tier.
Exactly.
You will know I'm saying that with love.
Exactly. Absolutely.
But we all know how. I mean, Moon Knight's had his fair share of comics, but he's also had many years when he hasn't. So
for sure. And so we're absolutely blessed that we're getting back-to-back runs as well, because there usually was, Rebecca, at least a year between. I mean, when was the Bemis run? I can't remember. That was the last one, and then we had a little bit of.
I think there was a year from that, and then Lemire. There's a break.
To Bemis, was a bit.
There's been a lot of breaks, and it's just and then they come. They don't necessarily last very long.
No. And now we got Jed doing 30 plus a new run as well for who knows how long. Hello, again, video of Aussie. Rebecca.
He's come for his cuddle.
Luckily, Rebecca's got a microphone. Otherwise, you would be smothered.
He's a big boy.
He is. Rebecca, I think that rounds out our episode now. I can't wait to discuss Vengeance of the Moon Knight. Next phase, Looney listeners, Rebecca and I will be back for another Moonshine. This time for Vengeance of the Moon Knight, we will be catching up. And again, shout out to Mario. Yes, the best way. Rebecca and I are working hard to catch up. Oh my gosh, that's Aussie. You sound like Khonshu. It's like
was he making noises?
It was, absolutely.
Oh, bless him. Oh, he's running away now.
No.
Go away.
Sorry, Aussie. I didn't mean to laugh at
Kitty.
But thank you, Mario. Yes, Rebecca and I, absolutely. We want to do a catch up. So we're going to be looking at Vengeance soon, and that will be our next episode. And then we'll be caught up, Rebecca, and the sky's the limit from there. A big thank you once again to our Patroonies, our Patreon members, patreon.com/ITK Moon Knight. Go check it out. For incentives, I've been a little bit slack again on the bonus content. There was a bonus episode a month. I will be bringing that stuff out soon. So please, stick with us, and thank you so much for everyone for your continued support as well. We are part of the collective. As Rebecca said, she just finished recording Sons of the Dragon and Iron Fist, although I think that you're affiliated with the collective now from Connor Shoot. Connor, sorry. Know, but it's always great to hear more content on superheroes, and the Iron Fist podcast and Rebecca is the place to go. So go check it out. I can't wait for the 50th anniversary this year as well. From Iron Fist, Danny Rand taking the mantle back. Rebecca, is that a given?
No, okay. I'm not sure it's going to happen.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just saying that, I think Cebulski was very non-committal about that.
Okay.
So I don't think that will happen. But it is his 50th year this year, and if you want to hear about Timeless from the Iron Fist perspective, we've just recorded that.
Fantastic.
So that'll probably be up in a week or so.
Fantastic. Go check it out. There'll be links to the show notes, of course, as always. Finally, you can contact us as well. Feedback at itkmoonnight.com. We've got the website too. It's up and running. Facebook, X, Instagram. Again, this is vastly outdated. I'm going to have to do a clean sweep 2024. And we're on Blue Sky as well and on YouTube. Go check it all out. We're just trying to build a presence there in Blue Sky too, and obviously Discord as well, which is a fantastic place to meet other loonies and to talk Moon Knight as well. Rebecca, that pretty much wraps us. Thank you so much for an awesome. It just gives me warm and fuzzy feelings again with issue 30. Listeners, we'll be back next time for Vengeance, and as always, may Khonshu watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information, or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.